Greetings, my friends. I'm Andrea, astrologer, and welcome to this new monthly update for February 2025. Can you believe that January is gone already, despite of the retrograde planets that we had at the beginning of the year, and we still have Mars very strong, so to speak. I think it was quite an eventful month, even if we would have liked a faster pace, but still I think it was a lot of action. It is one of the coldest months here in the northern hemisphere, and yes, I do not like cold so much, therefore the vibrant colors to really hit the atmosphere a bit up. So what do we have in February? First of all, it is a month that we can call the wind of change, if you like the song, so to speak. I would say that it is really a point in time when we will have an acceleration of the planetary influences that are really catalysts for growth in the financial markets, this being our focus, as you know. So we will have Uranus going direct from the 30th of January, actually, and we have also Jupiter turning direct on the 4th of February, and Mars only at the end of the month. We will have more action in the last week of February from the 24th, when it will go direct as well. So we will get really to normal speed, so to speak, and experience what 2025 has in store for us for this second month of the year, which is very important because it's right after the US presidential inauguration, and it is the point when things are really put into motion, and we expect here interesting developments. So let me go with you through these influences in February with the global astrology and what we can expect about it. As always, I share my screen in order to have an overview of everything, also not for me to forget, but also for you to see a written version of it as well. So we do have a month where acceleration would start due to the fact that Uranus and Jupiter will really go direct from the beginning of the month, and Mars will go direct at the end of the month. So it's still a lot of action that we can really hope for, and it is a speed of development that is actually expected. It could be a very speedy month, actually, once we get also Jupiter and Uranus up to speed. At least from the 10th, 11th of February, I would say it would be very interesting, and it is really something that we wait for to have more action and dynamics in the markets with crypto and especially altcoins. You know that. So I will also talk a bit about altcoins in general, of course. And yes, we do have Uranus, which turned direct, but after the planet turns direct, as you know, it will be stationary roughly until the first week, the end of the first week in February at least. And Jupiter will also be on hold for a while from the beginning of the month. On the 4th, it will switch. Of course, Jupiter has a much faster cycle of 12 years versus 84 years for the zodiac for Uranus. So we can say that it is a faster car, so to speak. So when it changes direction, it will not be stationary for such a long period of time. But we can really expect some delays in the beginning of February. And I urge you to be patient, because I think it will be worthwhile, because developments are interesting in the upcoming weeks. In any case, March is the first eclipse round for the year. You know, it will be very powerful energy. So it's important to be cautious, patient, and to really compute your targets and the strategy that you want to employ for the next month in this bull market. So February will be a starting time, but also a time of slow preparation in the beginning of it. So Therefore, you can also expect that some aspects, for example, that are really long-term or even short-term, they will be put on hold in the first part of February. So it will not be like around the clock, astro prediction, which sometimes goes very well, but with stationary planets and two at the same time, Uranus and Jupiter, really expect some delays in the beginning of the month. Just be aware for that. And it could be that some coins would really, of course, there are always some that can pump very nicely, even with this stationary, especially if the degrees in their horoscope are very close to the degrees where we have Uranus and Jupiter stationary. Now we will get somehow to speed from February 10th onwards, I would say, and this is an important day because on the 11th we do have an important, and I hope now it will really move, a very good aspect on Ethereum. And we know that when Ethereum moves, the whole altcoins would move, and this is also what we expect. But it is a matter of, magnitude that we didn't see much lately. Still, this is a very promising influence, I would say, on the 11th of February. I refer to the UTC time zone as always for the days, and I think here we can get a first spark of the move for the altcoin season, so to speak. Not that it would be very smooth. I just want to warn you because eclipses are ahead. We have also Venus retrograde ahead. So it's not a smooth navigation of the next month, but we still have a lot of positive background for the whole astrology to play out. Then we can say that from this mid of the month approximately, so from the 10th, 11th, we will get more accuracy. Once we get this suppressing that is over, and then we can expect also more accuracy in the timeliness of the aspects, especially the ones that are very short term, especially hourly aspects will be much more clear and accurate after the 10th, 11th of February. And Mars remains retrograde. This means that it is very strong, and it is whenever a planet is retrograde, it's closer to the Earth, and its magnetic influence is much stronger, which means that we also feel it, and it's also out of bounds in terms of trajectory. This is sometimes good from some points of view, so to speak, because it will also bring this perspective, of analyzing and then attacking, because Mars is about fight, about attacks and so on. But in markets, it will be a sort of interesting analysis and consideration before we dive into something. And the price action, I think, will consolidate quite nicely, but maybe some of us will say, okay, I'm not patient enough for it, I want it to move faster. So this transit will be in the sidereal Gemini, and why I say that is because Gemini is also the sign of the markets, so it will have a sort of a review, analysis where we are in the markets with the price action, and how do we really continue. And this point of continuation of switch will be 24th of February, when we have Mars turning direct at the 22nd degree of the sidereal Gemini. And I really say the 22nd degree of the sidereal Gemini because 22nd will have this implication of Capricorn. So it's the degree of Capricorn that is about hierarchy, structure, regulation, governments, and so on. So it could be that end of February is an important time for regulatory news, and yes, it would make sense roughly 1 month after the inauguration that something big could happen around the end of February. So this is what this Mars really suggests in terms of the price action for markets. Of course, it can have also other implications on the geopolitical landscape, and we know that this will indirectly affect markets. And yes, it is an indirect effect, but the the effect would be for sure materialized, and we will see it in the price section. So it's important to have really a lot of caution towards the end of February, because we have this big turning point in the markets. There could be also some conflicts, but I would say that in general it should be an improvement, so less intensifying, but it could intensify before. So around the date something is bound to happen, in my opinion, also on the geopolitical scene. In the markets with Mars in the sidereal Gemini. It's still not Cancer, so I wouldn't really say that it would be a big warlike event, but yes, in the tropical zodiac it is about the tropical Cancer in this case, so we might in any case see some news there. Just be aware of that. And yes, it is a stormy nakshatra, is the fourth pada, and this is very strong, but this 22nd degree of Gemini also shows a possibility for pump-dump scenarios around the date. So again, be very, very cautious that we will have volatility, and also in the world, some events could happen that indirectly, influences the price of Bitcoin, of crypto in general, then the whole market would be affected. And yes, it is from this point of view a very eventful month, and Gemini is the symbol for markets, for trading, as I told you, but it's also about news and disruptions we can really expect in this area. So it can be, it's about conflict that is possible, or changes in zones of conflict, in the world that would impact markets. It could be news that are of technical nature, for example, because Gemini is also associated with social networks, but not with the bigger ones. So it would be maybe the smaller ones, the more innovative ones, and we know that there are discussions also with the bigger social networks, TikTok and so on. So it could be that we get some news in this area of social networks that would really influence the whole landscape of markets, how it's traded, and basically the inflow of information. And from a tropical perspective, we need to know that we do have a change of energy with Rahu, the North Node, entering the tropical Pisces. I speak about sidereal, in most of cases, but when we have such a rare event, because Rahu will stay roughly 1 year and 9 months in a sign, roughly. And this is a collective way or target that is for the future, for the whole consciousness, for the humanity in general. And since we had Rahu in Pisces in the sidereal one, because we have this difference of 24 degrees right now with the KPI and Amsha between both zodiacs, we can say that now we will go more truthfully in a Rahu-like energy for Pisces. That is about this unboundedness, and it is also, you see cannabis and legalization of such substances. It's also about imagination. It's also about, we have no borders, but with the Saturn influence in the tropical Pisces, we will still feel this restriction that is happening at a global level with immigration and other movements in general. So it won't stay that free, so to speak, but it's still looming in the background. Yes, people would want to move, would want to really experience, life beyond their own boundaries, which is Pisces in many ways, be it psychologically, or the fact that they want to move somewhere, and really experience a life in a place where they have never been before. So this is an interpretation of this in the tropical. We should be used to it. I don't think it will be a big turn, but it is important because We can have also some exaggeration in the markets and some inflated prices, especially very fast, and this unboundedness, so to speak. Yes, it grows very fast, but in bursts for BTC, like we saw it already, because Pisces is in a positive angle with Bitcoin. So then the whole market could be like a stop and go with growth that would be quite chaotic, because Pisces is not an organized sign. It's rather about, how I feel, and this feeling, this general sentiment in the markets, I think will really play even a bigger role in the months to come. And yes, soon we will have a reality checkup with Rahu going into sidereal, into Aquarius, actually, because it will be ahead in this case with the sidereal, and we will get a flavor of the next future that is upon us, so to speak. Yes, I think art in general, imagination, creativity is favored. We can see a lot of new projects with this, especially because Pisces is in the ninth house of the chart for Bitcoin. This means that it is like a sort of luck, future plans. It's about, children, so to speak, the children of children, because it's quite established right now since 2009. And we can see here more projects appearing, yes. And I think art will be very important for the next transit that we have with Rahu in Pisces. So this is what I wanted to share with you for the global astrology mark 10th, 11th of February as an important date in the calendar for a switch of the altcoin season, and that would be interesting to see how it will play out. It is a time when we can expect a lot of news in the second part of February of regulatory nature, most presumably that would really switch, and trigger more movements in the markets in the months to come. We have to look forward towards a very intense period of eclipses in March and a Venus retrograde. More on this in the next monthly video. I want to thank you for your attention, for liking and subscribing, for helping this channel, and until next time, as always, be joyful. See you.